Okay, hi everybody. Again, it's Maureen, and this is a new addition to the GLCC agenda. I just called it Resource Corner because it sounds cozy. But it really came about because I came across a couple things that I thought members would be interested in. And we hope that going forward, as you go through about your work in the coming year, that as you find things that we all might benefit from or should know about, that you'll let us know, and then perhaps present a resource corner yourself in at coming meetings. So the two things I'm going to talk about today are an app to deal with cancer-related fatigue and a website called Beyond Conventional Cancer Therapies that addresses integrative and complementary care. So the first is the app. It's called Untire, and you may or may not know that cancer-related fatigue, Wynn and I talked a little bit earlier about the things that continue to plague people both in and out of treatment is fatigue. It affects about 40% of cancer patients and survivors. I suspect it's probably higher in lung cancer just because of the burden of treatments. And cancer-related fatigue is different than other types of fatigue. It's different than chronic fatigue. It's its own animal and can be the result of the cancer itself or the treatments that we use to treat it. So the app, again, is Untire, and you can check it out more at tiredofcancerapp.com, but also just really easy Untire. This is a group, the Tired of Cancer group is out of the Netherlands, and I connected them with Meryl's group once I was contacted by them because I was so excited by the app. So the great thing about the app is they have these specific areas of focus. They have a tip of the day, physical activity, which is different than exercises, and then they have a theme section. One of the things that makes me the most excited about it is that it's based on research, and in the development of the app, they included psychosocial experts, they included researchers, and they included patients. So I'm going to show you a little video just so you can kind of get an idea of what it has to offer.
Now it's time to get started. How does Untire work? Well, first you get an introduction with the basics. There you get to know everything about the app, like the vase of energy, the buddy, and the Untire community. After that, you'll get your own daily program. Do whatever you feel up to. In exercise, you'll find something different every day. Just hit play and we'll guide you through a breathing or relaxation exercise, for example. Physical activities is similar to exercise, but more focused on physical things, of course. And in tips, you'll find ideas, quotes, or thoughts to improve your mood that day. Last but not least, the themes. Here you learn more about the different aspects of your fatigue. Say you have trouble sleeping. Then the theme Sleep helps you with videos, tips, and articles to start improving your nights. You can read the information, but can also listen to it. Press listen, and we'll tell you all about it. You can switch between themes at any time, so you can learn what you want at your own pace. Every week we'll measure how you're doing and how much energy you have, so you can follow your progress. And in your profile, you can see everything you've done so far. But enough talk. Let's get started.
Okay, thank you. So, as you saw, it's got a lot of great ways to track. It also allows people then to take that information to their teams to talk about their fatigue. It has the community and the opportunity to connect with people individually. And this is the research. You can't really see it, so I had them do it this way. But it was a random control trial. And what they found was that there was a reduction in fatigue, an increase in happiness and satisfaction, and over time, people regained energy and recharged their life. And so they continued to test it to make sure that they're doing everything they can according to science. And right now they have users all over the world. Right now it's only available in English and Dutch, but in the coming year they're looking at translating it into Spanish, French, and German. Oops. And you can find it in any app store. So what I like about this, again, just to reiterate, is that it's based on science. They used patients in the involvement when they created it. It's really comprehensive, and I think you can see from the video, the literacy level is very low. It's easy to understand. The graphics are great. They use interesting terms like the vase of energy and filling up the vase. So I would recommend, if you are interested, to check it out. And the next resource I'm going to talk about is this Beyond Conventional Cancer Therapies website. And I don't know about you, but we have a lot of interest in people. They want to know, and we're not talking about alternative medicine, we're talking about integrated or complementary therapies that they want to use alongside their traditional treatment. They're talking about supplements. Right now, cannabis oil and those kinds of derivatives are really of interest to people, and we often don't know how to help them understand it. We always direct them back to their physicians, but often the physicians don't really know either. And so this is what the website looks like. I didn't want to go to it and have to go through all of it. You can explore it yourself. It is a US-based website. It's out of California, but they include research from all over the world. So another thing I really like about it is that it's scientifically focused. There isn't, frankly, enough, at least in the US, enough research on a lot of these kinds of therapies, but they take what's known and they take what makes sense and they use that. And they really want to contribute to the evidence base. They're very careful about how they include studies, and they really put it out there and allow people to make their own decisions. They just give out, it was kind of like Wynn said earlier, just the facts. And they don't sell anything, they don't promote any particular practitioners or therapies, it's just the information. I will say it's not the easiest website to navigate, so unless your patients are, quite savvy, it's really not something I would recommend that you give to them, but it's useful for us to be able to check out certain things and find out what the research says. It's certainly not comprehensive because, again, they don't include everything. They curate it, they call it, to only include the things that seem reasonable and make sense. And they say they include the most promising and interesting integrative cancer therapies. There is a lung cancer specific section. They have information on lung cancer. And then they have a way that you can search different therapies. But it's so much more than that, and it's super duper dense. I think it's one of those things that you don't want to just jump on and look at. You got to give yourself a little bit of time because you'll go down a rabbit hole and never come out. And what I like about it is that it's really a thoughtful approach. It includes things that maybe they're very small studies, there's not complete evidence, but that makes sense to this group of scientific advisors. There is a section specific to lung cancer. There's also a section for caregivers, which I like, where caregivers can go in and look at certain things. And the most important thing about any of these things is that it's kept up to date, because the worst thing you can do is have, a site where nobody's paying attention and the studies are all old. So that's the end. I'll answer any questions if anyone has them.
Any questions for Maureen?
Mine is just a comment. Maureen, that is really wonderful. I pulled down the app as you were talking. I downloaded it. And it looks like it will be so incredibly helpful. So thank you for bringing it to everybody's attention.
Absolutely.
And I also just want to say, as a general comment, I think that this whole idea of bringing resources to each other's attention is a wonderful addition to our agenda.
Yeah,
for the GLCC meeting.
Yeah, and it's like the newsletter. We can't do it unless we hear from you. So I know all of you are out there looking for information for folks all the time. Just make little notes when you find interesting things because we'd love to share them. Thanks.